what soul is, what we are, not what anybody else claims it to be, and then learn how to use it and become that. Because when this body dies, you're still the same. Your awareness won't be there because you're going to try to come back because you're attached to things that were programmed within that consciousness that it doesn't need to have. And it'll come back to this planet again for some ignorant reason of programmed ideas why it's important to come back here. Soul came here to learn. It's the first step in kindergarten. When you go to the astral plane, it's only the second step, and it's not much better. When people talk about the astral plane, there's nothing good going on there either. When you go past the astral plane, when you pass the two gods, three gods of that realm, you will go into the next and first beautiful realm of God. And God is actively aware of that realm. If you think God has to pay attention to every ignorant person, sick person, or anything that's going on this planet, it's ego, it's mind, it's programs. God created things for a reason. The human body is perfect. It always was. It was man that screwed that up. The lymphocytes in our body can destroy any bacteria that comes in it at the right level. But it only has a certain amount. And when you overload that amount, it can't fight. And that's why the immune system has broken down. But I want to get into science, because science just does everything to destroy who we are as a human race, to benefit the races of people that are living underground right now. And there's many, many races, beings, people, normal people, government people living underground right now in large numbers around the world for a reason. We can deal with why the chemtrails are being sprayed above ground, why they have hydroponics farming underground, why they have clean water underground, why they have all these important things underground and on top of the ground. Our vegetables and fruit are toxic. 100 years ago, you would get, say, just for a percentage, 97% vitamins and minerals out of it. Now you get 40% the same fruit. So they're cutting everything that's beneficial to the human race and telling them what do we need? A spaceship? Now we need hoverboards and things like that for the human race. Tesla wasn't aware what race he was working with, who they were really working for. He created a radio. Man needed communication. Why? Well, I want to know what's better on the other side. And it was always what's on the other side of the fence is more important than what's on my side of the fence. Everybody where we were had everything. Even the native people weren't aware of what they had. So mankind, and I just put in a chat room that we're animals. Oh, we're not animals. Animals, as a serpent. I said, well, it's all words. It's all man-created words. We're all energy, but we're individualized energy forms within that. And we all have a spiritual name or a name that vibrates up into the soul plane. Every being knows everybody by that dimensional name, not by Tommy, James, Peter, any physical name that we can create or think of. And it's a sound vibration. And that determines how high your spiritual soul body is. And when you travel into these other realms, you'll meet with those deities because they'll say your vibration, they won't let you pass them. It's that simple. And people say, well, I can go where I want. You can do whatever you want on planet Earth. That's why I call it hell. Because man thinks he's God, thinks he can do whatever he wants, which he can here. You want to kill somebody, you do it. You want to marry somebody, you do. You want to have birth, you do. But do you create new life? Not when you create a baby, you're creating a form for a soul to step into. Create the soul that steps into that baby, which you can't. And science is proving things little by little, but they're not going to prove the important things, like alien races and what they're really doing to us. They don't want to. And they're not paid to do that. The secret government that's fighting races right now, alien races, do not want the world to know that. The same as everybody in the United States wants disclosure. Other countries are doing it. But disclosure means telling you what we're doing, and that's the only reason why the United States is ahead of all the other countries. And we are, for a reason. Russia was playing with stupid satellites in the 50s when we already had technology to go beyond our solar system. So, again, where's the boundaries and fine line? Russia wants to be friends with the United States because they know they won't be able to take us out. China is a country creating armies thinking they'll take over the world. If the exposure of the United States said that we don't have anything important, we don't have this high technology, they would take over the country right now. If you're not watching what China's doing, and they're taking over the oceans with islands of armies. I mean, the United States created 15 armies out in the ocean as well, but not as big as China is creating right now. I mean, that's what's going on in the physical reality. Science isn't going to help that. The HARP system, they could take out a whole country if they wanted within 5 seconds. So the technology that we have is beyond nuclear weapons. They're playing the game because mankind thinks that's the highest energy that we have to work with. Proton, neutron, and electron, exploding a proton or a neutron. The CERN is trying to crash 2 atoms to make a black hole. What mentality would want to create a black hole? They'd have to prove that it's real and create it. So they're trying to prove it, that there is such a thing as a black hole. Now, Tesla did create quantum physics. He created a vortex. You can put anything you want inside that vortex and it'll disappear. I mean, that's reality, but it's still physical reality. It doesn't go into the spiritual realms of God, and it won't ever be allowed to. But it's going to allow these people to play until they learn to take a step forward, even if it means creating another Earth and putting them all back on that to start all over again. Mankind has adapted to programmed ideas. The Bible, the Emerald Tablets, the Sumerian Tablets, the Urantia, all these books that were created by man, telling stories of aliens, good aliens, bad aliens, and everything else. But even the Bible was written by man. Michael, you still
Absolutely.
there?
Absolutely.
The other person left.
Absolutely.
I'm just.
I think the other guy dropped or what?
Yeah, he dropped. He dropped off. He might go back. I don't know.
Unfortunately. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, because it's like stories and stories and stories put into a book. I mean, somebody write it, and the other person come and write in some of it later and later and later. It's about 300 years after Jesus Christ died. Then they put something together, and it's called Bible. Am I right or wrong, my friend? Go ahead.
Right. Let me say this. You know, I didn't know that this was going to go anyway. Usually there's nobody calling in, nobody in the chat room. So obviously, for some reason, death touched people's thinking because there is a fear of it. And this whole discussion is based on a title that I put up that made people come to it. And they want to believe science. They want to believe. Science is trying to prove the opposite of what Spirit's trying to prove. We need nothing. We need nothing to be a soul. Being a human, we need everything. Everything can be done and created around us. So, when I watch people talk, I don't mind debates. I love debates. I mean, I stand by God's truth, not by anybody else's on this planet's truth, because they'll never find it, and they'll never understand it. And second of all, I do give a lot to Jesus now, because when I was in Atlantis, we were psychic. We had so many abilities, and all these things didn't exist there. When you could read somebody, they can't lie, and they can't hurt people. It's a totally different reality. Take the ability to lie, add the ability to lie and the desire to hurt people, you change your reality, which is what happened when the alien race came here and destroyed Atlantis. So we move forward to this point where dying is a fear, because nobody, and what everybody always says, nobody knows the truth. Very few people know any truth, but the few that do. And whether people want to accept it or not is a choice. Jesus came with truth. Nobody wanted to hear it. Buddha had his own truth.
That's why they killed him. That's why they killed him. But,
that's exactly why they killed him.
Yeah,
no,
but Christians always say Jesus Christ died for your sins. That's absolutely wrong. Wrong information.
It's a cop-out. It's an excuse.
Yes.
His own people, I was there, his own people wanted him killed, or let him get killed, and voted to have him killed. And they let a murderer go free. It was horrible. I couldn't understand it. And then Peter, the most recognized apostle of Jesus, didn't know what Jesus was teaching. He had no clue. And Mary Magdalene, which people don't understand, was the most spiritual woman on this planet at that time. I'm not saying there is one now more spiritual, but at that time she was the most spiritual person. and she had Jesus' abilities. How could she teach Peter what Jesus was teaching if she didn't have the ability to do it? You can't show somebody how to build or do something if you don't know how to do it. So, in that, common sense is void of the Bible. They give Mary, the mother of Jesus, all credit and power and became a saint and all that. But then again, the Knights of Templar, who actually stayed with Mary Magdalene's daughter and her until she died, and created 4 temples, did recognize Mary Magdalene as a head person, as a saint, and all that, and worshipped her as you can worship any being. So yeah, there's a lot of twisted information every which way. But now I was even checking that out, and they're into money, just like every other person on the planet. To become a super high being in the Knights of Templar, you got to spend $75 a month. If that's not ridiculous, I don't know what is. You could be a trainer in the Knights of Templar for $22 a month. I mean, it has to do with money. It's like when I was going to become a preacher, and the minister, the preacher said to me, "Well, here's a paper. You have to sign it." I said, "Well, what's it say?" It says you're going to give 40% of your salary to the church. I said, "What do you mean 40% of my salary?"
Tax.
No,
Tax.
I'm going to donate to the church 40% of my salary, no matter what it is.
Right.
I said, "God never said that." "Oh, you have to sign it. You have to sign it." I said, "No, I don't." I said, "I'll give a lot more than 40%. The only money I need is for my food and to get back and forth to church, where I'm going to be a preacher. And then don't worry, then sign it." Because I said, "No. What if my bills were more than that and I had to pay the bill? I have to pay my bills first." And then at that moment, I decided I was leaving the church. But because they don't have the truth. And when you base it, which everything is based on money, you're not going to find the truth. Scientists get paid incredible amounts of money to do research on ridiculous things. "Oh, this ain't ridiculous." Well, every medicine that comes out of the scientific world is toxic to the body. Every single one of them. If you don't watch a commercial, it says this medicine can give you 100 different problems outside of the one you're trying to cure.
Exactly. That's why we have seen so much mass shooting in the United States of America. We see that, because Latuda to Prozac and all type of the new drugs has come. The psychotherapists in VA hospital say, "Okay, take this one. Your PTSD will be under control." Bingo. They take it and they become very egoistic, very unfearful, and take a gun and then go shoot in Thousand Oaks, shoot in Kentucky, 2 black people, and then another one was Jewish people. Why?
Well, let me just say this. This whole show was sidetracked, which is, I don't mind. Things happen. I let people say what they believe, their belief, their truth, their ultimate ideas. I won't ever agree with science. Science doesn't help mankind become spiritual. It doesn't help us to be cleaner living beings. Period. If we had free energy in 1900, why are we playing games with it now even? Now they're going to try to say solar energy is outdated. So, yeah, we're in a vortex where man thinks progress. Now, every 10 years, we take a giant leap. Every 100 years, we take a super giant leap, however you want to word it. But those leaps aren't beneficial. Weapon-wise, toy-wise, and I say mankind is only the toys he plays with. Everything we create is a toy, really. A spaceship, a car, every scientific tool we play with is a toy. A toy to play with other toys. So, I mean, even that sex robot we talked about already, that's going to be out there mainstream, they're going to sell for $50,000 to have your own sex toy that does what you want it to do? Yeah, people will pay it.
Right.
I mean, just listening to...
artificial intelligence is taking over the world. And,
it will. It will. I mean, that's going to happen. I mean, we got no other way to go. I mean, we can't fight it, but nobody's smart enough to fight it before it started. And